hours a week. I've noticed over the years, though, especially from COVID, it's shifted to, to self-care and take time for yourself. But there is a balance between the two because I find that they're both polar opposites. You do need to work hard, but when you're starting out, don't take every other day off. You know what I mean? So today we have a very special guest. Some of you may have worked with her already or seen her in our Zooms. She's a mindset and business coach, and she is going to share some tips on how to work smarter, not harder in your business. I present Carina Groombridge.
Thank you, Em. That was an excellent introduction, and I could go on and on about what you said regarding like the working smarter and not harder, but then the whole entrepreneur mindset of like, okay, I got to hustle and go, go, go. And personally, I love to kind of marry the two things because yes, it involves a lot of work to run and grow a business, but also you need to take care of yourself in the process. Otherwise, you will burn out. Like, it's just this will be inevitable if you're working 80 hours a week and like driving yourself nuts. So, I am excited to dive into the topic of working smarter and not harder. This is one thing that I love to teach my clients. I love to promote because we all have the same 24 hours in a day, and some people have wildly different results, right? So it is possible for you to take those 24 hours and work smarter with your time in order to achieve the results that you're after. So just a little bit about me. My name is Carina Groombridge. I am a business owner, mindset and success coach for the last about 6 years. I'm also, fun fact, an engineer to everyone's surprise because I do not fit the mold of a typical engineer. I also have 4 kids who are wild and crazy, and I love them. And I am ridiculously passionate about supporting women and helping them grow and establish their business so that they can support their family, so that they can take the vacations, enjoy life, along with making an amazing impact in what they are passionate about. So, like, there's my quick recap on a little bit about me. So now let's dive in. So how do we work smarter and not harder, right? So as I said, we all have the same 24 hours in a day. Somebody might have the same circumstances as you, the same amount of kids, the same job that they're doing, but they might have very different results. And that is what we're diving into today. So I've broken this down into 2 sections, if you will. So we have hold on, we're gonna go with the visuals here. I love me my whiteboard. So we have the actions, like the practical actions we can go and take. I'm gonna talk about those and give you some like practical tips you can implement. And then we also have the mindset. So if you have one without the other, it's not going to work, right? So we can take actions all day long, and I'm sure many of you can attest to having endless to-do lists, but maybe still not achieving the results that you want at the end of the day, right? And we can think all the wonderful thoughts and have a great frame of mind, but we have to have the actions to support that. So at the end of this training, you may be tempted to take the actions that I've shared. I will share those soon. May be tempted to take the actions that I've shared and go, okay, I'm good. I got this, and just focus here. And I want to really underscore the importance of having a solid mindset behind it, because without the level of thinking that is required, you will fall back into the same cycles of, maybe doing and barely coming up for air. And then 3 months later, you're like, wait, I've done a lot of work, but I still don't have the results I'm after. So So we're going to start over here with your brain, with your mindset. This is like, I love this piece. And it's also a piece that I have only sort of recently um, come to in my life, like in the grand scheme of things, because as I said, I studied as an engineer. I worked as an engineer for nearly a decade. And that, if you don't know any engineers, it's very methodical, it's very logic based. And when it comes to your mindset, it's not exactly. So it's a very different realm. And when you're thinking of like, okay, like what are the thoughts going on in my head? Who am I showing up as? You might be thinking things like, I just need more time. Like you've got a mile long to-do list. I just need more time to get through these things in order to create what I want. And yes, as a business owner, you've got a lot of tasks to do. I get it. But if you are finding yourself in that trap of, I just need more time, I just need more time, I just need to do this one more thing to get to my end goal, I want to offer that that's probably not the case. And this is a kind of like big glaring sign that you need to start working smarter, not harder. And I just want to share, when I started my business, I had 3 kids under the age of 3. I was working a full-time corporate job and I was hustling my butt to get my business up and running um, because I didn't want to work the corporate job anymore. I didn't want to do the 40 plus hours a week anymore. I wanted to do something I was passionate about. And I can tell you, because I didn't immediately invest in one-on-one coaching and like that direct support. I kind of like dabbled in the free things and everything I could get my hands on, which was great, except for me, it led to confusion. It led to doing a whole lot of things, but not actually moving forward in the way that I wanted to. And so this obviously took me a lot more time because I was focused on, okay, but I just need to do more. Like, okay, I need to fix the website. I need to have a website for that matter. I need to like do all of these things. But I was forgetting to look at the bigger picture and look at who I was actually being. I was kind of just being a worker bee, but with an entrepreneur hat rather than showing up to my business like the business owner. And so, one thing that I want to kind of give you a different perspective on is when we're looking at what we want to create in the future. Okay, so this is the present. So this right here, like we're standing right here, okay? And this is the past, and this is the future. And so what our brains tend to do is look at what we've accomplished in the past and go, okay, if it took me, this much time to create this result, then it's going to take me the same time in the future to double that. Does that make sense? So what we tend to do is go, okay, well, it took me a year to build my business to this level, and okay, well, do I have another like 6 years to like get to where I want to go? And it feels heavy. It feels like, oh, when in actuality, the time that it took us to create something in the past does not have to equal the same thing in the future. And this is where our mindset, where our brain really comes into play, because I want you to start opening up your mind to seeing what is possible, seeing what is available to you. And it's like, Lynn, you'll appreciate this example. It's like compound interest, right? So the work that we've done here, it does not mean that it's going to be the same thing reflected in the future. The work that we do here compounds so that in the future, our results can go up like this. So with that in mind, when it comes to your mindset, when it comes to working smarter, not harder, I would love for you to, when either at the end of the day, at the end of the week, to pause and reflect on who am I showing up on? Who am I showing up as right now? Am I showing up as the business owner? Am I looking and evaluating things like a business owner, or am I just like doing tasks like a little hamster on a wheel who's never ending and like going around in circles? Okay. And this plays into who you are being on a day-to-day basis. Now, this is something, this is called a self-concept, and really developing your self-concept. And the first piece to that is like I said, again, checking in with how are you showing up right now? How are you operating? And you can ask yourself questions like, okay, how would, insert the business guru in your industry? How would, I don't know, Mel Robbins respond to this? How would Marie Forleo respond to this? How would Oprah respond to this? Like, what would she do if she were in my shoes? And this is just a really kind of easy way to tap into that higher level thinking rather than continuing along the same, like, oh, okay, I got to do this task. I got to do this task. And like, all right, the list goes on and what I have to get done. So that is like a glimpse into the mindset piece of working smarter and not harder. So now I want to bring you to like the practical actions. And for that, I want to just start by asking you, what does your business need from you? And this really falls into two categories. Either it needs more money, it needs more clients, or you need to scale so that you can accommodate and expand to bring in more clients. Does that make sense? Like either you need money or you need to scale. I want you to put your business in one of those two categories. All right. And then as we go through this exercise, I want you to filter for whichever category you put yourself in. So from there, and this is an exercise that I have my clients do because oftentimes we don't, it's hard to see it in the moment when we're going and doing all the things. So the next action, and I want you to write this down if you've got a piece of paper and pencil and you're not driving, but write down what are the things you are doing on a daily and weekly basis? Like what are all the tasks? If you were to open up your to-do list, what are all of those tasks? And also if the two are not the same, also, what are the tasks that you were doing if I were a fly on your wall and I were watching you for a week? What are all the things that you're doing? What is happening in your life? Like, are you saying you're working 8 hours a day, but you're actually scrolling TikTok for half of that? I don't know. No judgment, but we want to understand what is actually happening on a daily and weekly basis for you and your business. All right. So we start there. And then from there, again, using our filter of does the business need cash flow? Does the business need to scale? Apply your filter, please. And I want you to look at those activities. Now you'll probably need to take a few more minutes to like write down, make your list. But the second step to this is looking at the activities on your list. And I want you to look at it not from a place of judgment. That is not the point in everything that I do. And if I'm calling you out on stuff, it is not to bring the guilt and the judgment. It's just not very helpful at all. Okay, we can check that out the door. And I want you to just look at it from like a neutral place and ask yourself, okay, what are the activities on my list that drive the result that I want? And what that means is if you want money in the door, if your business needs cash flow and clients, when you look at the list of activities that you are doing on a daily or weekly basis, do they reflect lead generating activities? This is my engineering brain at work, right? Because obviously if on a daily and weekly basis, if you're not taking actions to bring in clients, it makes sense that you have a cash flow problem in your business, right? Like we can't just go around every day doing the thing that we love and are good at and hope and pray for referrals. Like referral business is amazing. I love it. I'm not going to knock it, but there are other means for you to have control over how many clients are coming in the door and how you are showing up to that. So that is like the money side of things. If you are looking to scale, what in that list can be delegated? What in that list needs to be delegated for you to free up time? And one example that comes to mind is like if you're a real estate agent and the thing that needs to be happening is you need to be going out and seeing people and knocking on doors, but you're behind the scenes doing all the admin work. I can tell you that you investing in an admin assistant is going to allow you to do the thing that you need to bring in more clients, right? And in order for you to scale, you're going to have to remove some of that work from your plate. And on that note, if you're sitting there saying, okay, but Carina, if I don't have the funds in my business, what do I do? And to that, I want to ask you, how fast do you want to scale? How fast do you want to grow? Because what I see most is if your business does not require a high startup cost, like for example, it just requires your time, your effort, your skills, then a lot of business owners don't see making an investment in their business as worthwhile. And I want to just compare that and like give you a different perspective on if you were starting up a bakery, let's just say, you would have to rent a location, get all the equipment, probably hire some staff. Maybe you could get away with it without, probably hire some staff. And before you make a cent in your business, you will have spent probably hundreds of thousands of dollars. And this, in terms of like a brick and mortar business, is just an accepted fact. You will invest before you make a dime. But in the world of online and service-based business owners, I see so often this mentality of, okay, well, my business hasn't made any money, so I don't have money to invest in it. And I want to just challenge that thought. If your desire is to grow, if your desire is for your business to be supporting you, supporting you, your business, your family life, then it may require an investment from you for whatever things, services, support that you need. And I want to normalize that. And if you're like, nope, not for me, that's fine. But know that that may stunt your growth and may slow you down in the process. And it depends on what your goals are, where you want it, and where you want to go. Let's see. Okay, so I'm just double checking if there were any other key points that I wanted to address. And the main thing is when you're looking at your list, when you're looking at like okay, I do all of these things in a week, in a day, and I want you to really filter and ask yourself, what are the things that only I can do that cannot be delegated that will generate the most, like the highest return, for example. And that could be a difference between posting online and kind of hiding behind the screen versus showing up to the networking events or actually having that conversation with someone. Okay. If you need clients in the door, having a physical conversation with another human is going to generate you faster results than just posting online. And I'm not knocking the online game. I love it. I do it. It's amazing to work with clients all over the world, but it depends on what your priorities are and where you are at in your business. So I could talk about this all day, but I would love to open up the floor if there are any questions, if you guys want to dive in a little deeper, and we can go from there and I can support you in whatever capacity.